All right, so welcome everyone. I want to talk about Kubernetes and especially focusing on CKAD specific tips. There are a lot of people around who aspire to become CKAD. That's a good exam to clear and testify whether you can really do things in the real production environment. Verify your understanding of what exactly you know about this product because there are a lot of moving parts. So let's go slow. So I will create few small videos around Kubernetes and CKD to be very specific to help you get things going, right? I don't guarantee that if you watch my video that you will be able to clear the CKD exam, but at least you will get some help in terms of how to prepare on that, where to focus more, and what are some of the tips which generally people follow, which I also learned from others. So I want to share my learning and experience while I was preparing for CKAD, and then I also would like to share that with you so that you also get some benefit out of it. So let's jump into the machine where I wanted to share some components. So let me go and open a browser. What is the first question you might have when you want to appear for CKAD exam is that where can I practice um, my skill? Because this is performance driven exam. So to practice, you need one place that is Karakora. Karakora.com is a portal run by O'Reilly. That's a famous publishing house which who does also video tutorials and a lot of other online live sessions. They come up with this environment, which is basically a browser-based real-life environment where you can practice. The benefit, you don't need to install anything into your local machine. So if you just have a laptop and a browser, that's more than enough for you to start going. So there is actually nothing which stops you practice Kubernetes if you have an internet and a browser available with you. So you can directly play with it. Now, what I want to do is that I wanted to play with, say, let's say Kubernetes. So I'll go and search for Kubernetes. So you can see there are various different platforms you can play with. Kubernetes is one such, right? You have Docker, you have TensorFlow, so you have Visual Studio Code. So all these things like you have Linux. So you can practice anything you like. So this is our ideal place to start with, right? So you can see that there are Kubernetes fundamentals, Kubernetes serverless. There are many different Kubernetes versions available also. So ideally, you should be selecting any one and move forward. But remember one thing that the version you are selecting should be as close as what exam offers. But just for the beginner, you can start anything. So you have Kubernetes background, right? And then you have two terminals. You have a deployment scenario. So let's start with the basic thing, Kubernetes Playground and Editor. And you can see that it basically estimated time 10 minutes. So sometime the timeout might happen. So you can keep working on it, but you might find a timeout. If you just leave the screen open, it will go off, right? So you can check if the kubectl is working. So all those things you can do over here. So you can make it a full screen, right? You can increase the size of the font. So if you save the presentation mode, it becomes font size becomes big. So you see that kubectl get pods. If there is any pod, there is no pod. I'll say get nodes. So everything is ready for you. So there are two nodes. One is control plane, one is node one. Now, one of the things which I always do when I work with kubectl is that my typing speed is not that great. So I create an alias, right? And I say kcubectl. So every time I don't have to type the whole thing. So I can type k get nodes and I get the nodes. Now, for example, I want to see whether I can create a pod over here. So what I ideally be doing is simple run command. So k run busy and then image will be busy box, and let's say restart, never, and then I see that pod is created. If I say k get pods, I get to see the busy box is kind of completed because I intend not to run it for longer time. So if I, let's say, have this same command and I just name it to busy1, and I want to keep this running, so I'll say uh, sleep for 1 hour. 3600. That's a 3600 seconds, and it will be created. And this time you'll see that my BusyBox pod is running. So it shows container creating, and then it should be running. So it will keep running for an hour, and then after that it will say completed, right? So one thing you need to remember that pods are meant for running container, and container is a single process application, which means that when that application is done with, the container actually stops. It's just to have that flexibility in terms of restricting the resource usage and not unnecessarily running when things are not happening. But for the scenarios where you have, let's say, ingress controller or firewall, which needs to always keep on running. So you need to configure your container in such a way that it will never go off, right? So you basically have to build those mechanisms to make sure that container is running. Otherwise, if you create a container and if there is no error, it'll create and then stop because there is nothing it is doing. If you want to really go inside the container, which I just now have created, that is busy one. So what you can do, you can say kexcc, that's execute, and then you basically give the name of the pod you are working. So you give the name and then say interactive terminal, that is IT, and then you run the bash command, right? So I don't need interactive I shell. I can just simply run the bash command, and it should take me inside the bash command. Uh, If I say bin sh, does it take? No, it doesn't take. So let me say busy minus it. Yeah, it's now there inside. You can see that now I'm inside the container. I can see all the folders. I can even go ahead and create file one, and then it will create a file. If you run this ls command, you will see the file one is now part of the root folder, right? So I can pretty much go inside that and then come out of this. So if I say exit, it basically comes out, and then k get pods. If I do that, you see that busy one is still running. If I run the same command, that is exec interactive IT, that's interactive terminal, and then I can see still the file exists. So till the time the pod is recreated or deleted, the file will be there. Now, there are ways to preserve the file in a folder, which irrespective of the pod getting created or deleted will be there. There are a couple of ways. So that's sort of like a deep advanced level topic, which we will talk about later. But the whole idea is that I do not need any setup. I can just go to Karakora, right? Karakora.com. You can see that name appearing on top of the screen. And then you just search with the Kubernetes and then pick up an environment and start playing. That's so easy, right? Kubernetes doesn't stop you learning. It's just all excuses we make that we don't get the required environment, we don't have that setup available, and we kind of delay our learning experience. But literally, there is nothing which can stop you learn from Kubernetes, especially in the context of that you do not have the required setup, right? So you please use this Karakora and learn Kubernetes from now, and you will enjoy the power and beauty how it works. Hope you have enjoyed, and I will come up with my next talk pretty soon. Thank you.